coming down.
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly, Miller's just like trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry! Good evening and welcome to the Radical Sim Racing Round 10, live from Legacy Silverstone Circuit. I am James Parfitt. As you can see, I am joined in the booth by the one, the only Daan Pepels for this amazing 90-minute endurance event here from an iconic circuit that is Silverstone. Daan, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you're well. I'm all right. Not too bad at all. Thank you very much. How's it going for you?
Yeah, like I said, great in this Sunday evening. Some radical sim racing endurance on, of course, the Silverstone Legacy Circuit.
Yes, definitely it is as well. And I think it's going to be rather interesting here today. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go, to be honest. We've got 18 cars on track going to be here with us racing. And I think at the end of the day, it could bode some epic action, but it can also be a very difficult circuit to make passes and overtakes on. So I think the guys are going to have to be a little bit more, either they're going to have to be aggressive or they're going to be insensible. Now, welcome in Diego Zuccarelli, Yvonne Bramer, Phil across the pond. Thank you so much. And Miles Owens as well. One of the questions will be tyre stops. Are they going to take tyres here today? Because it's been eating tyres after about 30 minutes, this circuit. I think that's one of the things that they're going to have to look out for is, are they going to be taking tyres?
Well, from what we've seen this week, James, it definitely seems like at least about the 45-minute mark is where you want to stop for tyres, because this track just gets so incredibly difficult. It's already very difficult, but it gets so incredibly difficult when the tires are going off. The cars will be heavier than the sprint races we've seen. So I think if you want to run till the end, you're either going to have to be very soft on the tires, or you're going to have to be a tire whisperer, because I don't think that any of these drivers will get to the end on the same set of tires.
No, I think they're going to be needing tyre changes. Current times running around in practice. John McCutcheon there on a 140.470. Currently, Mike Bousson not far behind him on a 140.95. Overall, though, I think they are going to have to take tyres. I think that's without a shadow of a doubt. I think it's going to be a very brave man to be going, or woman, no, or men. It's a very brave man to be going basically whether on without a stop. Now, normally we see them don't take tyres, but I think here today they're definitely going to have to, and I think that's going to throw a different perspective to the way that when the pit stops are run and how they get on with it as well. Let us know in chat what you think about the tyre wear situation here at the Legacy Silverstone Circuit, because it is going to play a part, and I think if anybody chances it, they're going to be very brave.
Yeah, well, we've seen it. Well, ridiculous strategies have been pulled off before, so it wouldn't be the first time we would see it, but on this track is definitely one where I would be surprised if we did see one, because I just can't see it happening, James, with the things we've been seeing this week so far on this track with the tire wear. It's going to be incredibly difficult to even make them last till the end.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're going to be literally Bambi on ice if they try and go for it with the one set of tyres. I'd be very surprised if anybody does make that move. But again, only time will tell, and that's all we can basically just watch out for. I know the likes of Rudolf Nagel, John McCutcheon, they're the sort of ones that will have a go and try and not take tyres, but I think here is going to be very, very difficult. What we will do, guys, is switch over to the live screen and bring you up all the current championship standings. Right, so here are the championship standings as they are currently at the moment in time. In the pros, Rudolf Nagel is winning with 577 by Mike Bousson on 467. We couldn't safely say that Rudolf Legal has won the Endurance Championship. It's without a shadow of a doubt. He's too far ahead with this round and the round at Nordschleife left. It's just not going to happen. He's not going to be able to be caught. So he is officially the champion this season. Daniel Sedgley in third, Kettle Larsen fourth, Steve Place in fifth, David Waters in sixth, Dennis Kyrgiopoulos seventh, Lucas Dozer eighth, John McHutchinson in ninth, Paul Crabb 10th, Paul Clark 10th, Paul Crabb 11th, Teo Sattenberg in 12th, Sven Young Matheson in 13th, Ewan Braemar in 14th, Henning Haig 15th, Marnik Heister in 16th, Rafael Blanco in 17th place. And that rounds out the pros. Now in the AMs, we have got Paul LeMay out in front with 334 points. Another one that we said has won the championship. He did wrap it up at the Red Bull Ring as well. It's impossible for Damien G to catch him, unfortunately. And Damien G would need to win basically this race and the next race and take the fastest laps and get the clean driver points as well, which is not impossible, but it's highly unlikely. So David Rollison in third, Gary Truby fourth, Michael LeMay in fifth, Guy Robinson in sixth, Byron Crawford seventh, Stefan Mellis eighth, Sergio Capella ninth, Daniele Cascado in 10th, Colin Wynn 11th, Graham Brown 12th, Alphonse Ruiz 13th, Nia Gluskic 14th, and Maren Grigic is down in 15th place. Now, in the team standings for the pros, it is Team Radline leading the way on 907. Sim RC behind him on 880. Now, that isn't done and dusted. That can still finish how it will be. It'll be going down into the last round at Nordschleife to really determine who will take the championship in the pros for the teams. Tiger Team in third, IGL Coatings E-Racing in fourth, Lounge Racing fifth, Team Slow-Mo Black in sixth, Platinum Racing Team seventh, Team Slow-Mo Red eighth, Mado ninth, and MJX in final place. In the AMs, we've got Two Brothers Racing and Rad Sports Sim Racing. Now that isn't technically done, but theoretically Two Brothers Racing are your overall team championships. I don't think that Team Red Sports Sim Racing will be able to catch them going into the final two rounds. So be aware on that one. I think Two Brothers Racing have wrapped up the AMS Championship. Mudday in third, Essential Racing Team fourth, HRT fifth, and MJX Racing Team in sixth. So there we go. That are all of your current team championship standings. Miles Owens, damn, looking sharp. I think that's referring to me, Dan. I don't know if it's you.
I think it says my name, doesn't it?
No.
It does.
No. It doesn't. It says damn. He's mistyped the message.
Oh, okay, right, yeah.
That's what it is. It's supposed to say damn looking sharp, not Dan looking sharp. he mispressed the buttons on the keyboard. He's going to retract it in a minute and change it. So it's fine. I'm not worried about that, you know what I mean, at all. But we've got 120 left of practice here, guys, before we go into qualifying at the moment. As you can see from the fastest times on your right-hand side currently at the moment, John McHutchison leading away at a 140.470. Lucas Dozer 140.898. Mike Busson 140.954. And then we're going into the 141s after that as well, all the way down to 142 with Gary Truby down in 13th place. So tell us, what are we expecting, Dan? What do we think is going to happen?
I think the last time we did a qualifying together on this track with this car, they were getting close, like John McHutchison is now, to the 140.1 mark, not quite below the 140s. So I don't expect John McHutchison to go into qualifying with a lead of 0.4 of a second. That is just a bit over. Well, that gap will not stay. That's basically what I'm trying to say here, is they will all get down probably to about a 140.4, 140.3. If you're very quick, a 140.2. That's the last time we saw. Track state will not be exactly the same, so we'll be around the 140 low. That's what I'm expecting in qualifying. But yeah, like I said, I don't expect John McHutchison to be 4.10 heading qualifying as well.
Right, okay, well, we'll be telling you very, very shortly as qualifying will be underway. Here, we will have 10 minutes qualifying on the clock ready to go. Welcome in, hope you are here. Mr. Zaga, good evening, everyone. Good evening, George. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a fabulous time. Thank you so much for joining us. Much love to you, of course. George Gonzaga there as well. Drives in the AMS and also in the Thursday night Radical Race Series as well that takes place here on the JPB YouTube. You can go and check that out. All videos are available as well, and don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to turn on the bells for notifications as well, because that would be absolutely amazing, because we've got some quite a lot of racing, wouldn't we say, Dan, coming up.
Oh yes, I've seen the calendar, and it's basically next month in March, and at the end of February, we are expecting to be on almost every day, which is amazing. So every day you'll have at least one series to watch.
Yes, we will, and not just in the UK. We will have one series pretty much in America as well on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Not a Saturday at the moment. And I'll put that out there loosely, not at the moment. But we have started qualifying, and we've got Mike Boos on there as well. The times will come in thick and fast as everybody leaves the pits pretty much together where they are on track. So you will see the times flash up on the left-hand side quite rapidly. So we will try and keep up with all of the times coming in ready to go. And hopefully we will be able to get them on there ready and up and running. That's great news to hear, says Phil. Definitely, as well. Ewan Bramer for a podium today. Platinum hashtag PRT. Maybe. Not entirely sure, but he might be able to get to the podium. What do we reckon?
Ooh, yeah, you're gonna get a biased answer here, of course, being a part of PRT. I think Ewan is gonna be able to get that podium. He's quick. The last thing we saw of him, of course, on the Friday, didn't have his best race there. Made a couple of mistakes, but of course, this time round on the endurance, we want, or at least at PRT, they want him to perform well. Of course, Ewan, always a very consistent driver, as we know, usually there in the top 10 just about, and maybe today a little bit further up.
Well, every car has completed their current outlaps at this moment in time, and Lucas Dozer will be one of the first men across the lap to see. Here we are at the Legacy Silverstone circuit. Currently he's coming around the back side at this moment in time. Round turns 11 and 12, so should be a good one for everyone, really. If you haven't seen this before, sit back and enjoy it, because you know you do have 90 minutes of absolutely incredible racing here, and one that I think we can look forward to tonight, because it's going to bring a different kind of dimension on how they set the cars up, how they obviously, you know, deal with the racetrack as well. It's going to be a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be, and one that I'm looking forward to is, of course, in 4 weeks' time, the last round. And of course, I'm not looking forward to it because it is the last round, as you see the first times get on the board, but because it is the Nordschleife, and of course, these radicals around the Nordschleife are always a spectacle to look at. Now, I do have to tell you, though, James, if we go into a section at the Nordschleife, if I'm driving, it's okay. If I'm watching, I don't know where I am on the track. For some reason, if I'm watching on the off-board camera, so if I'm watching here on this TV camera, I wouldn't know where on track we would be. That's a challenge, though, for 2 weeks' time. But, of course, looking forward to that one. First, though, we have to get past this challenge. And what a challenge this is. A difficult track. We said it already. It's a difficult track on its own, and especially on used tires, which will come into effect in the race. Cars, of course, light now on the edge of what the cars can do. The drivers on the edge of what they can do, and the first times have dropped in. It's Kjetil Larsen at the moment leading the pack away in a 141.135. In the AMS, it's LeMay, of course, on a 142.2. So both times there, very quick for both AMS and pros. It looks like for the moment, though, the AMS and the pros, there seems to be a difference between those two. They're not quite as mixed up as we are used to see.
Yeah, well, Paul LeMay got the times down to about late 42s, 41s. So I'm expecting him to go a little bit quicker. We are looking at Sandro Capella here, who's got a time of 1:43.752. John McHutchison has got some purple on the board as he's coming across the line now. Round Woodcote he goes over the line for McHutchison. And what is he going to put? He's going to put it on pole on a 1:40.633. That man is literally a machine. David Waters here as well, currently sitting in ninth. He's got a purple on the board as well for Sector 1. He's going to go into third. Kettle Larson goes up into second. What about Mike Buson? Buson's got some purples as well. Coming out of left field on that run round Woodcote now. Here we go. Mr. Mike Buson. What is he going to put onto the board for us? Third place. Cool, so we've got Damien G in the AMs. Not a bad fast top three, eh?
Not at all, not at all. A very quick top three of 140.6. Not quite the 140.4 that John McHutchison did in the practice session, but definitely very close to it. And only a second lap, of course, on the outing here. Of course, has one more to go. John McHutchison is improving at the moment as far as I can see on my timing screen. John McHutchison again up for an improvement. It won't be a lot, but it is an improvement, and every improvement is a bit. A 140.6, like I said, not so very quick. Damien G, though, now has gone to the top of the AM class on 141.794. Zelonka, though, behind that on a 141.9. So also the AMs getting into the 41s. However, it's 1.1 behind the pros. John McHutchison, very, very quick.
Well, Rudolf Nagao has got greens across the board. He hasn't got purples as of yet, but I'm expecting his time to improve here. Rudolf Nagao, oh, yellow in the final sector, 141.056, down in sixth place. Michael LeMay, of course, is improving on his time as he's going to be coming across the line for Two Brothers Racing. Did he? Oh, he didn't really.
Kevin Larson goes to pole. Kettle Larson jumps to pole position on a 140.4. Sorry to cut you off there, James, but that is a magnificent lap time from Kettle Larson. A 140.4 at the moment, the quickest by over 0.2 of a second. We're looking at Mike Buson again. What can he do? He can improve to a 140.699. Can't quite improve his position, but further extends the gap to David Walters in P4. That is a very quick lap time from Kettle Larson there, James.
Yeah, definitely on that one. We're hoping they'll be able to get everybody gets away cleanly, of course. So there was some fracas, should we say, on Friday. So that would be an interesting one, making sure they can all get off the line together. You know, it was a little bit dramatic. What was the problem?
There was that someone started too quick. They didn't get a jump start, but their start was just too good.
Yes, it was. Yeah, Sven Young Matheson basically did an absolute barnstorming start on Friday, went across the right-hand side into a gap, and then unfortunately collided with, I think it was Christoph Lipp, and then they literally, well, there was about 5-6 cars behind them in the field that got involved in that one. David Waters was on a flyer. He's now not so quick. He's dropped down to 2 yellows. Rudolf Nagao again is improving, but he's got a massive amount of improvement before he can go up. He goes up into 5th place at the moment. Ewan Bramer is in the mix with the AMs currently. Ewan down in 12th place. I think it's going to be tough to get that 3rd place, to be honest. I think Ewan would have to rely on people not finishing the race. Goes back up into 8th, mixes it back up into the mix of the pros, of course. And then we've got Paul LeMay, who's gone on to pole in the AMs on a 141.339. 48 seconds remaining here of qualifying, and we've only got a couple of people left out on track. And Sergio Capella, the big boss man himself, is one of them. So let's see what Sandro is able to do here.
Sandro at the moment down in 17th in the field on a 142.8. 3/10 off Gary Truby, improving only in the first sector of 4 that he's done so far. 5 sectors here this evening, is in the last sector right now. And I don't think it's going to be too big of an improvement here for Sandro Capella. Dennis Kiriakopoulos is also still out on a flyer. I don't think he's going to be able to finish that lap time off. Neither is Sandro Capella. That was qualifying, and the grid is set for the race. And it will be Kettle Larson on the pole.
Yeah, well, there you go, Dan. Grid is on your screen currently. Off you go.
Kjetil Larsen will start on pole position for the IGL Coatings team. Team Redline has John McCutcheon also on the front row. Mike Buson also for Team Redline in third. Tiger team is David Walters in P4. Rudolf Nagel for Simracing in fifth. Lucas Dolzer also Simracing. So a Simracing third row lockout. Dennis Kyriakopoulos in seventh. Ivan Bremer in 8th, 9th, Paul Clark, 6th, Stephen Place. Then the first of the Ams, Paul LeMay, Paul Sitter there. Damien G in 2nd. Jacek Zalonka in P13. Michael LeMay in P14. Stefan Mellis in P15. Gary Truby in P16. Sandro Capella P17. And Guy Robertson finishes off the grid in P18. Starting in the middle of a corner here, James, different than on all the other tracks. We saw that it could bring some difficulties on Friday. Let's hope we won't see the same here on Sunday.
No, let's hope not. But I'm sure these guys will be a little bit more sensible with Larsen on pole. Then we've got McCutcheon and then we've got Buson. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get on here this evening and see what happens with Mike Buson. Can he get a nice clean race? So let's see what happens here this evening. Go Canada, says Diego Zuccarelli, shouting it out there for Stephen Place down in 10th at the moment. But get ready, guys, because we're going to be going green very, very shortly. We're just waiting for Damien G, who's probably just finishing off his kebab. Maybe. I don't know.
Is that what he had for the race today?
I don't know. I've just said he might have had it. Who knows? Right, here we go. The lights are on. 3, 4, 5. And we are green. Oh, Buson behind McCutcheon spun up. And that's allowed Buson to come through. And Rudolf Nagel. John McCutcheon gave a whole big puff of acceleration and didn't actually go anywhere on track, but Mike Buson has managed to get in front of Rudolf Nagel here as they go rushing down for the first time through the Magnus and Beckett's complex until they come out the other side. And I think, Dan, everybody has got away cleanly.
Everybody got away cleanly, and we saw what we saw on Friday as well. Kjetil Larsen with a magnificent start. He just flew off the starting grid. And I don't think the start from Buson and McCutcheon was too bad. It was just Larsen that had an absolute rocket start. He got a flyer off the line. Buson in 2nd, McCutcheon 3rd, Nagel 4th, Kyriakopoulos 5th, Bremer in 6th, Dolzer 7th, Clark 8th. That is about to change though, because Dolzer is all off track.
Where did you go?
Breaking point.
Yeah. Just misjudged it, and now he's dropped all the way down. Lucky for him, he's got 90 minutes of racing left to go, but David Walters here in the mix in 8th with Paul Clark in front of him and Stephen Place behind him currently at this moment in time. But it is Kjetil Larsen out in front by 1 second. John McCutcheon in 2nd. Iwan Bremer up into 6th, Dan. Not an impossible 3rd place after all.
Not at all. Iwan Bremer looks quick. Is on the back now of Dennis Kyriakopoulos. But we saw it on Friday as well. You have to stay clear of mistakes, which Iwan Bremer made 2 of. Let's hope for Iwan Bremer's sake that he's not going to do the same here on Sunday, because if he is going to do so, then that would really destroy his race. He's up into 6 now, up 2 positions. Biggest gainers in the field, of course, Stefan Mellis in P11, up 4 in the AM class. Zalonka is leading the way there, of course. Paul LeMay has dropped all the way down to P12. Of course, in the pros we saw it. Kjetil Larsen from the pole position, a flying start. So he still leads the way there by about 1.6 seconds already.
Yeah, he does. We've got Zalonka and the AMs in front currently at the moment. We're looking at Gary Truby. He's battling away here with Michael LeMay. So don't be fooled. There is 2 in this race. Of course, we've got Michael and Paul. Paul is in 3rd place currently. Was in 1st and is now down into 3rd with Stefan Mellis and Jacek Zalonka in front of him. Up front, we've got Buson. Has got his teammate John McCutcheon right behind him at the moment. Mike only lives about half an hour up the road from me. So, yeah. Mike only lives half an hour up the road. That was nice for me to find that out, which was good. But he's at the moment, he's got John McCutcheon behind him, so it'd be interesting to see how that one pans out. As you can see, the battles as well. KFG here in the backside with Paul LeMay. There he is, Mr. Damien G. Got nicknamed KFG by Colin Whitney the other day, and it's just kind of stuck, as it was quite funny. I've got to be honest, I was in stitches. But there we go. What more could you ask for?
A battle for P1 with everyone within 2/10 of each other and trying to overtake. That is what I'm asking for. Of course, a lot to ask for. We do have a battle, however, for P2. Buson, McCutcheon, the gap 2/10 there. Buson, not as good of a run as McCutcheon got out of the last corner. However, of course, the first corner, Cops, not a corner to try it at, so I don't think we'll see any moves there. But of course, the Magnussen-Beckett complex leads into the hangar straight onto Stowe, and Stowe is definitely an overtaking opportunity, isn't it, James?
Yeah, it can be, but however, you've just got to be brave and cooperative and making sure you're sensible and to not go and torpedo somebody in front of them. And if you're going to stick your nose up there, make sure you're going to be able to not get it chopped off, because otherwise it's all going to go wrong. And, you know, you've got 18 cars on track currently at the moment, and the last thing you really want to be doing is sticking your nose up the inside of somebody like Stephen Place is trying to have a go here over David Walters, but Walters managing to hold him back currently from the Tiger team and is sticking in 8th place. Dozer now is coming back through the field. He's now in 16th. He's passed Guy Robinson and Sandro Capello. He's 10th overall in class, and he's 4.1 seconds, 4.2 seconds back from 9th place man Stephen Place. So it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. Dennis Kiriakopoulos here, battling away with Nagao and Iwan Bremer. Rudolph is not looking as quick on this track as we used to see him, Dan.
No, well, it could just take him some time, of course. Rudolph Nagao, I don't think Rudolph qualified in the top 3, did he?
No, he was up 1 from his 5th place. So he qualified 5th and he's now in 4th, so he's up 1 place.
Well, I can tell you one thing. That's the first time Rudolph Nagao this season has not qualified in the top 3. There you go. Rudolph Nagao, not as quick as we are used to, and James is right with that. The first time this season he did not qualify within the top 3, qualified 2 positions outside of that. Damien G going for a move on Stefan Mellis, who's now dropping down. Of course, got a flyer over the star, but is now dropping down the order. Zelonka leading the race in the AM class by, well, about 6/10 over Paul LeMay. Of course, brother Michael LeMay down in 5th place. But it says behind Stefan Mellis, about to overtake him as well. Damien G, though, a good overtaking opportunity, though, into Cops, and he took it.
Yeah, he did. Mellis basically gave him the room, and through went Damien G. He doesn't need a second invite, trust me. If KFC left the doors open, he'd straight be in there. That's without a shadow of a doubt. So he's going to have the gap open on the racetrack, as David Waters has left a big old door. Welcome in, Stephen Place, to 8th place there. David Waters, well, didn't go too well with the defence there, mate, did it, unfortunately? He's dropped down the order into 9th. Maybe he's not fighting it this early, but yeah, I thought he might have put up a little bit of a fight, as Gary Truby is battling it here with Michael LeMay and, of course, Lucas Dozo, who's trying to recover after, well, going off a little bit weirdly, to be honest, but I think he missed his braking point and he went off track, didn't he, Dan?
It was kind of a slow off track. He went off track and it didn't really look like he overshot his braking zone. However, that's a good overtake in the back. Lucas also, of course, making it past Michael LeMay into, well, the last sector. And we're on to the start-finish straight again. Gary Truby is the next one for Lucas also to tick off his list. But what we are not used to seeing, really, is a pack between the pros and the amps. A gap has opened up to David Walters of about 7/10 from J6 Zelonka. So if David Walters can open up that gap above a second, we could well see just the gap between the pros and the amps here for the first time, really, this season.
Yeah, 0.9 at the moment from Zelonka to Walters on there as well. But you can see Buson and McCutcheon here. If they're communicating, because they're in the same team, of course, both from Team Radline, if they are communicating for the team championship, which isn't completely finished, we've got Rudolf Vigal from SimRC and Lucas Dozer from SimRC, of course, battling it away. They are really close together on track. So from that point of view, they haven't, you know, got all to play for, really, both Team SimRC and, of course, Team Radline here. So it makes no sense for them to fight, really.
well, of course, team championship or not, you try and tell a racer, James, to not overtake someone. Even in Formula 1, when you get told not to overtake someone or to let someone pass because the team championship or however, it's never gonna sit well, you know. You're a racer of heart, you want to be racing, and if you're, well, not allowed to do that by team rules, then I'm not really a fan of it, of team orders, to be honest.
Yeah, and to be honest, as we saw last season in the F1, it doesn't always get cooperated back, does it? You know,
Yeah.
some little individuals in ignorance, and we must not hold a grudge, but yet holds a grudge from a race that was a while ago. At the beginning of the season, should we say, decided that it was not going to be good enough, and on that one, I don't like team orders either. Let them race. If they're second, if they're first, wherever they are in the championship, let them go at it, because you're picking driver 1 and 2 in the garage at the end of the day, so let them go as well, because let's face it, we all want to see the race. We don't want to see these team orders here, but it is Jacek Zelenka batting away with Paul Lemay here as well. Rudolf Nagel has just gone past Dennis Kiriakopoulos, who just saw Dennis flash by it in the back there. Paul Lemay is trying to get Zelenka on the inside with Damien G's looking a little bit, trying to get involved in the mix, should we say. I want him seeing, oh, he missed out there. I thought he was trying to follow Paul Lemay through, but didn't quite do it this time around.
Not quite. Lemay holding on now this time round, of course, to that first place in the AM class. Zelenka 2/10 back. Honestly, if I have to be honest, the gap of 2.3 seconds now. There we go once again. Paul Lemay still holds on. Zelenka not quite able to make that move stick, and by going for the move on the inside there, actually lost himself a bit of time. But like I said, that 2.3 seconds, I have a feeling that's going to stay that way. For the first time this season, really, James, we're seeing a difference between the pros and the AMs. Why that is, I couldn't tell you. Lucas Dols in the background here. We see him fighting with Gary Truby and Stefan Mellis. Mellis and Truby blocking the road, really, for Dalton. So Dalton not quite able to get past. Gary Truby now might lose 2 positions on the throttle here. Here we go. That's past 1 for Dalton. Gonna get another one into Cobbs. It's going to carry it around the outside. That was difficult there. Got a bit loose on entry and is off the track on exit. But he's going to get the move done on Mellis, and that is up to P13.
Yeah, Lucas Dozer there, 2 in a row. We've got Gary Truby and Stefan Mellis, and poor old Stefan Mellis got done by Gary Truby. So unfortunately for him, he was dropping down the order now as well. Mellis down in 5th in class, 15th overall. So let's see how they get on here tonight. But it is going to be Rudolf Nagel in 4th place. He's coming under pressure for Kiriakopoulos. Iwan Bremer's not too far back. Can he get the 3rd place? He's got 2 very difficult drivers to try and deal with.
Yeah, Rudolf Nagel, not an easy driver to get past, however, if you do have significant overspeed, which I don't think at the front of the field really is the case. I think all these drivers are within 2-3 tenths of each other, so you're not going to have significant overspeed, so you're going to have to be patient with the overtake. You are just going to have to wait your moment, and if you can pick out the point that is best to make that pass and where you have the opportunity to do so, I think it's going to be possible to
I think it definitely will be there, Daan, as well. And from Rudolf Nagel's point of view, it's going to be hard to try and keep up with Dennis Kiriakopoulos there as well. But we'll just have to see how that all pans out as the race goes on. We've still got an hour 17. Looking at coming into technically what we would say, Dan, where is the pit window here tonight? Where are we thinking we're going to be looking?
Well, I think as always, we're going to be looking for around minute 45 to minute 30. In that 15-minute window, I think then we will see drivers come in. Of course, you want to pit at least halfway through the race. Technically, if we want to be honest here, James, the pit window is open from lap, well, I think from the hour mark till minute 30, because you are going to be able to make it an hour through the race. So you can pit half an hour into the race, but you can also put an hour into the race. But I think that most of these drivers are going to pit with 45 to 30 minutes left.
Yeah, I think you could be right on that one. Good evening, Craig Gregory. I hope you are well, sir. Thank you so much for coming along. And Jacek Zolonka, you're watching at the moment with Damien G in tow. Sergeant Capella, Guy Robinson have their own little personal ta-ta-ta at the back of the field here for 8th place in the AMS, 18th, 17th and 18th overall here. It's good that these guys have got people to have a go and a good old race with them. There's Sergio, of course, doesn't really get out on track. Mike Buson, John McCutcheon, it's still Buson, it's still McCutcheon, and it's still Larson. Is John going to... I don't want to say team orders because we've just had that discussion, but do you think John's going to be going for it? He did say there wasn't any team orders in Redline, so hopefully there isn't, and he's just got to find a way through.
The thing is, James, there's a difference. I don't like team orders, but if a driver himself says, okay, I don't feel fast, I'm going to let you through because I'm thinking about the team, then yes, I do agree with that. But it has to be a driver's own decision. I'm all for just racing and letting the drivers decide out on track. If the driver thinks, okay, I'm going to do this for the team, I'm going to let him pass, I'm in no championship fight whatsoever, you know, then I'll support it. But I'm not supporting the team saying to the driver, let him pass because we want him to be ahead of you. If you still are with me and understanding what I mean.
What you're saying is the driver has to make the decision.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm not aware of any team manager for Team Redline, so I'm going to put it down to the fact that it will be on Mike Buson's head if he allows John McCutcheon through.
Yes.
Right. Okie dokie then. There you go.
You know, there's a distinct difference between that.
Christoph Otterhoff, IGR Coatings. Yeah, there we go. Chris Hall, good evening. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck, all the drivers coming to my seeding day with the Mazda World Series. Is that iRacing, Miles, or real life? What are you talking about?
Yes, it is. It is iRacing. It is iRacing.
Oh, okay. But there we go. Buson now still battling away with McCutcheon. These guys coming through. Maggots and Beckett's, of course. Damien G, Jacek Zolonka. Zolonka's just got off track. That's going to allow Damien G through. And here comes Lucas Dozer. It's not one. Oh, Zolonka comes back on, cuts his nose off. Damien G loses the position. Dozer's going to have a go at Zolonka, but Zolonka's not going to make it easy, Dan, have we? We've seen him get himself in a little bit of a... too many little tussles for his own good, really, that sometimes doesn't always work out in his favour.
Yeah, they're side by side still, coming on to the hangar straight. Where is Dolzer going to make that move? Is Damien G going to make it 3 wide? He's not. And Dolzer's going to get past Zolonka as well. Now Damien G's going to look to follow him through. He can't quite. Zolonka's going to get the better exit than Dolzer. Is Zolonka going to fight back? He's going to have a look to the inside, but going to think the better of it. Which I think is the smartest thing to do. You can see that Dolzer is quicker. You can see that he started way higher up than you did. You can see that his race pace is quicker than yours. If he's pressurizing you, I would let him pass. He's not in the same class as you. You're not fighting him in any way. So try and stick with him. Try and catch up to Paul LeMay, who's actually leading this AM class by about 4.3 seconds. Try and catch up to him and try and make a dent into the lead that Paul LeMay has at the moment.
Yeah, as you see, Paul Clark and, of course, Stephen Place here. Place is trying to go around the outside of Luffield. Clark's, well, I would have thought he would have opened up the steering a little bit more there, but coming down through Woodcote now, it's Clark and Place. Of course, Paul Clark from iLounge Racing. Go and check them out, guys, iLoungeRacing.co.uk. An amazing facility he has got up there, I tell you, absolutely incredible. From normal rigs to 4-screen rigs to one big widescreen rig to a car, half a Formula 1 cut out on a motion rig that you sit in, and it's all very bumpy, bit bumpy. But go and check him out, because you're not going to be, even just for a go and say hello, it's going to be absolutely amazing. But Damien G here battling away with Jacek Zolonka as well. Damien G's trying to get the inside run now. coming out. Oh, he's got in a little bit wide. That didn't quite work out well for him, but unfortunately, luckily enough for him, Stefan Mellis wasn't too close to Sandro Capella. Now clears Guy Robinson and is up into 17th place. So that Capella up into 17th, but Paul Clark and Stephen Place having a nice little battle there, Dan, down in 7th and 8th.
That was quite close there between the two. Of course, I did want to ask you, of course, you have been to a little bit of an Islands Racing team meetup. Of course, you had an interview day there, a media day at Islands Racing. So, how was it there?
Oh, it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. There was, from Paul Clark's point of view, he has got one heck of a facility, as we see Stephen Place there run a little bit wide and get past it, and Clark coming back through again after that as well. Clark Place has just gone, nearly lost another position to Stephen Place round left field. Is Walter's going to be able to run it round the outside of Place? He's not going to be able to do it this time. Clark's managed to stay back there and get through, but is Walter's going to be able to do it? Going down into Cops. What do we reckon?
I don't think he's going to pull out of the system at Cops. You already have to be alongside, coming on to the straight, running on to Cops. And that is a bit wide in the background for LeMay. Walters, though, it doesn't seem like he's going to get past before we get to Stowe, really, because this Magnus Beckers complex is really tricky to get past. We saw it a lap earlier, of course. But I don't think it's close enough now in the slipstream. Half a second, it's too far. It's just too far.
Yeah, he needs to be a lot closer than that, without a shadow of a doubt. There doesn't seem to be a single thing he can do about it. He needs to be a lot closer there as well. Stefan Mellis is close to Zolonka at the moment. These guys are battling away for 15th and 16th overall, of course, in the arms of the pros. Dozer has got one more place to take, and then he is officially at the back end of the pros, and that is Paul LeMay. So stay tuned. We're going in an hour and 9 left currently at the moment, and it is Zolonka and Mellis down in 15th and 16th place currently here tonight.
Well, everyone running well so far. So James, continue with your story, of course, about Islands Racing. Because I'm interested to hear, how was it, of course?
It was awesome. I got to meet up with some amazing people. Mike Bousson was up there. Paul Clark, of course, was there. Paul LeMay, Damien G, Michael LeMay, Seth Brown was there. George Gonzaga was there. Oh, blimey, who else have I missed? I know there was a picture posted of us all. Hold on, let me just double check on who was there before I miss anyone, because I don't want to... So we've got George Gonzaga was there, Paul LeMay, Sergio Martinez, Darrell Taylor, Seth Brown, Michael LeMay, Luke Maxwell was there, Damien G, Mike Bousson, Paul Clark, Dave Rolliston, and of course Colin Wynn. So there was quite a full house, and it was a really good day, to be fair. We done a shoot up with Paul round the facility as well. So yeah, it was really good. It was a really good day. He's got so much stuff up there. If you have time, please go and check him out, because even if you go up just for a bit of fun and say hello from here, you will not be disappointed, because it is an amazing facility he's got. Absolutely incredible. Hi-Fis, earphones, headphones, sorry, I called them earphones and he told me they were headphones. Then there was sims, there was a coffee table sim as well, which was incredible. Yeah, it was amazing. Absolutely amazing day.
Yeah, great to hear, of course. But I did miss Paul LeMay, so Michael LeMay was there.
Yeah, Paul LeMay was there as well.
Paul LeMay was... Oh, okay, great.
So they both were there.
Yeah, well... Of course, the two brothers. But when can we expect the footage on the JPB YouTube channel of that day?
Hopefully by next week. By next weekend. I've got to record over a piece of the footage. There was some background noise that was heard, and it needs to be taken out and re-recorded. So I've got to do my magical dubbing best to record over it, but we should get it done, hopefully. I want to say hopefully by next week. There's so much footage to try and all peg together as well, and of course we had the blindfold challenge and everything else was involved in that as well. So there's so much of it, so we just need to work out what's going to be the best way of doing it and getting it looking sexy, should we say.
Well, definitely look forward to that, guys, of course, when that comes out. That's going to be a great laugh to watch, of course. Seeing James do a blindfold challenge, which James can't even drive at CCR normally without being blindfolded. So, yeah, doing it blindfolded is a whole different challenge for Mr. James Parfitt. So definitely looking forward to that one. You guys can't see James at the moment. I can. And James is doing the international sign for love you over the camera. So James, of course, great to have you in the booth. Love you too. Always great to be here. Luckily, we're not in the same booth now. Otherwise, I would have probably been thrown out of the window. Paul Clark under attack from Stephen Place. He's going to get past, and Paul Clark is not going to be careful here. Still has the inside for Orange, and now Stephen Place gets past Paul Clark. What I want to ask as well is, did you ask Paul Clark how he made that car as wide as he always does make it? Because I want to get some tips from him.
He doesn't know. He doesn't know. He just says he drives it defensively, but he seems to do it well. He just positions his car. Oh, David Waters there, got a big snap behind him. That's going to allow Paul LeMay to come up on the inside. David Waters ran very wide there. Paul LeMay is through up into 9th place at the moment. Iwan Bremer did go off track and has now dropped back from Dennis Kiriakopoulos, and Rudolf Nagao is now driving around with 6 seconds behind, 3.5 seconds in front for Iwan, unfortunately. So it's going to be a very lonely race until the pit stops for Iwan Bremer. Yeah, he doesn't know. He just says he drives defensively and he just seems to do it well. So there we go.
So the man who's the best defender in the league doesn't even know why he's defending so well. He's just driving defensively.
Dude, he just parks his car, doesn't he? I'll send you a link for...
Yeah, but I could do that. And then they would still get past. So there is a secret to it. He just doesn't want to tell you. I'm sure he doesn't want to tell you. There is a default secret to it, but he just only can tell a couple of people, because there's a specific amount of people that are only that good at defending, and he's just lucky to be a part of it, and he can't spill the information to everyone else. That's my theory. There you go. Think of that what you want.
You finished? Have you finished?
Yes, okay. I am finished.
Good, he's finished. So it's an R, exactly. Bremer saving tyres. Nope, he went off track. As did Sergio Capella, ceremoniously as well. So Sergio Capella's been off track. We can have a look at the Iwan Bremer off track now. So that is turn 1. So he runs wide, gets a little bit squirrely onto the grass, and he's had to back out to allow them to come through. However, Sergio Capella's looks a bit more ceremonious at this moment in time. Again, turn 1.
Just a bit wide. Just
he's going to slide it. Here comes Kyle.
Nice 360.
Yeah. Did a good job, Sergio Capella, to get that round as well, but Nagao now trying to come up to the back end of Mike Buson. John McCutcheon has cleared Buson and has opened the gap up by about 2.5 seconds. David Walters, Lucas Dozer and Paul LeMay are within eye shot of each other, with Paul Clark at the front of the queue. And that's going to be a tough one. So let's see how these guys get on with an hour and 3 left here from the Legacy Silverstone circuit in the UK, Dan.
So, like I said, James, pit stop window is almost opening up. About 2 more minutes, I think, and then we'll maybe see the first drivers who are struggling with tires jump into the pit lane. Or maybe drivers that have been quicker than they actually are because they have a lighter tank than everyone else, or a lighter car with less fuel in the tank. That's how I should say it. And they're going to go in and they're going to run a little bit slower at the second part of the race. David Walters, though, still defending from Lucas Dolzer. This is a battle in class. Both David Walters and Lucas Dolzer has dropped down behind Paul Lemay. Paul Lemay looks very quick though in the AM class. Is about 7 seconds ahead of Damien G. He's dominating at the moment in the AM class, is Paul Lemay.
Yeah, he's doing a stellar job. He's done. His improvements this year has been incredible, and he's driving injured as well, which I am aware of. So Paul Lemay there is driving with an injury involving his arm and to do with his neck, I think, as well. So unfortunately for him, and he's come back and put it on to 90 minutes here, and he's going to give it a good old go, and he's currently leading the AMs here. And as I say, if he wins this, he's definitely cemented the championship. There's no shadow of a doubt about that one. I think he's going to do an absolutely stellar job, but let's see how he gets on. Buson, Nagao side by side here. Buson's got defensive in to turn 11. He's managing to hold back Nagao, but only just currently at the moment. He needs Kyriakopoulos really to do him a favour there, Dan, and put some pressure on him.
Yeah, it's difficult though for Kyriakopoulos. That was a bit deep though for Buson in the first part of the complex, and he regathers himself, gets it back on track, and stays ahead of Nagao and Kyriakopoulos. But it's difficult for Kyriakopoulos. Nagao has pressure from Kyriakopoulos behind him, but also has the slipstream from Buson ahead of him, which in the end is just keeping him ahead of Kyriakopoulos. So Nagao lucky to have the slipstream from Buson, I think. Otherwise, that battle would have looked, I think, a bit different between those two. The only difference where really Kyriakopoulos can make the difference at the moment is in the corners, because at the straight they're both equal.
Yeah, Stephen Blake's got the fast lap of the race at the moment at 1:41.88. Hutchinson 1:41.99. Larson on a 1:41.825. Now, last time out, McCutcheon at 1:42.672, where Larson did a 1:43.383. So McCutcheon pulling in a bit of about 7 tenths over Larson, and it could be one that could end up coming together as the later the race goes on. And we have got 59 minutes left currently at this moment in time here as well. And then we've got Mike Buson and Rudolf Nagao with Dennis Kyriakopoulos battling away for 3rd, 4th and 5th at the moment.
Well, Rudolf Nagao, where is he going to make this move on Buson? Because he does have the advantage of the slipstream. Does he want to make that pass is the question. Or does he want to save fuel? Because Rudolf Nagao, of course, there's only 1 or 2 races where he hasn't finished in the top 3. So to keep that run going, of course, he wants to finish in the top 3 again. And also just for the championship points. He's already racked up the championship. Can't get to 1,000 points anymore, I believe. So for, well, Nagao, there's, of course, it's just running the races and winning more races, maybe setting a record for most top 3 finishes in a season.
There's a blink. There's a blink. He's in the pit. Sorry, no, Dan, but David Walters is the first one to blink on 58 minutes, and he is into the pits here on lap. Currently, we are on lap 19, so David Walters, the first man into the pits there as well. He's the first one to blink. So Mike Buson still got Rudolf Nagao right behind him, but David Walters is the first man into the pits.
Well, that's going to be an interesting one. Let's see how long he's going to be in the pit lane for. I don't think, James, that pitting early is too bad of a decision. Tires are going off, we saw it. We have got some information earlier on the stream, I think, from Diego Zuccarelli. He says, I couldn't get to the end of 30 minutes with 1 set of tires. These people know how to drive clean. So judging by that fact, everyone is going to have to change tires. Judging by the fact that Dave Walters is in the pit lane for about 1:07 already, I think he's taking tires. There we go. We just saw it. He dropped down. David Walters, the first one to take tires. And it's going to be interesting to see now which lap times David Walters is going to be able to do compared to the leaders.
I don't know if that's early.
It's early.
He's got half an hour. Yeah, but he's got half an hour on a set of tyres. right? That if he's finding he's struggling with again, and yet he's got 57 minutes remaining. The maths don't work.
Yes, they do, James. And
Is he
I
gonna
can tell
if
you
he
why.
could, okay, fill me in with something. Tell me.
Usually my maths are not correct, but I can tell you one thing. If you go, let's say, the best possible thing you could have done, run 45 minutes on one set of tires, run 45 minutes on the other set of tires. That would be the best in terms of tire life. But
Okay.
how he started was he fueled the car up for 58 minutes, so the car is lighter, and he ran till 58 minutes. Now he's going to run for 58 minutes on a full tank of fuel on those tires. If he would have done 58 minutes like he is going to do now at the beginning of the race, it would have been exactly the same, because then the end stint was going to be on new tires but on lighter fuel. There would have been no difference whatsoever between that. So it's just however way you prefer it. Rudolf Nagel going for a move now, or Buson going for a move. Oh,
No,
yeah.
Nagel's trying to get past Buson. Yeah, Nagel's trying to get past Buson.
Sorry. It was Nagel trying to get past Buson, didn't quite do it, but there is no difference in that. As Dolzer has got past Paul Lemay as well, so Paul Lemay down to 10 now, still leading the Amstel by about 7.2 seconds. But like I said, there is no difference in running the longer stint early or later. The only difference that there could be, which David Walters can't control, is the track temp. The track temp and the track usage. Are you going to slide more at the end of the race or at the beginning?
Well, the temperature's not going to change. It's set to 25 degrees, right? I'm struggling to understand what you're saying, and not because I'm being incredibly thick here, but it just doesn't make sense. Like,
It does.
he would have been, hold on, he would have been better off running for the 45 and 45, right?
Yeah.
Because he would have had a flat amount all the way across. To get rid of his tyres early, which he has done regardless of the fuel that he's on, he's got ready to dump them tyres early. He's now got to go longer, and he's going to be on heavier fuel, because if he's only stuck fuel in for 35 minutes, he's going to be running tyres in a heavier car. So he's still not going to be as quick. He's not going to gain a lot by doing that at the moment. He should have gone 45-45, which is what I expect a lot of people to do, considering running lighter, sticking on tyres, new tyres, and then running heavier. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I agree with you, and that's why I said the best possible thing you could do is run for the 45 minutes, change the tires, and then get the new tires on for the next 45 minutes. That's not what he decided to do at the start of the race. So once he is stuck with either one of those strategies that I already said, run for 60 minutes, get new tires for the last 30, or run 30 minutes and get new tires for the last 60. There would be no difference in that. So when he started, he made the decision to go on one of those two strategies, not thinking about the 45-45, maybe because there are going to be people that are not going to change tires, and maybe that is the case, that he wants to be on the same strategy as them, or just running opposite to them. We don't know. There might be a genius reason behind the fact that David Walters has taken tires this early on in the race. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter with the way he started if he's going to take it early or later on in the race. So yes, I do agree he did miss the opportunity to go for what on paper is the quickest strategy, to go 45-45. But there's nothing he could do anymore once he got onto the grid.
Right. Okay.
James seems very confused right now. I'm looking at him, and he doesn't know what to think about it.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense what he's done.
does.
It doesn't. It doesn't. You can't sit there and say lighter fuel on tyres. What burns more fuel? Lighter fuel on tyres or heavier fuel on tyres? A more weighty car. What, a more weighty car or a more lighter car?
What burns more fuel? A car that is heavier, that burns more fuel.
No, what burns more tyres? A car that's heavier or a car that's lighter?
A car that's heavier. But you also...
So, hold on. Whoa, back up, Priscilla. He's put in more fuel on new sets of tyres and expects to go longer than running on a light fuel load that doesn't have defects with tyres, right? So
Yes.
what you're basically saying is that David Walters is not going to get to the end of the race on them tyres because he's got a heavier fuel load and he's put new tyres on that he's expecting to last for 58 minutes.
He is going to get to the end of the race.
But yet he couldn't get to past 45.
He could. He just
But
decided
he
not to
didn't.
do so. He just decided to go for a strategy where the first 30 minutes of this race, he would be lighter than everyone else who was running for 45 minutes.
Help me out here, chat. Help me out. Somebody please come and jump in and save me from continuing this discussion as we see Gary Snoopy going around Stephen Mellis around Luffield trying to run around the outside of Woodcote. Now here is Gary Truby. Oh, I thought he was going to be able to hang it around the outside on Stephen Mellis there. He was giving it a good old go as he comes down that start finish straight here around, and then they go through Cops here this evening on lap 23 for these guys now as they're coming round through the Maggots and Beckett's complex and see how they get on. Can Truby now make it past Mellis? Can he make it past Mellis, and can he have a good old go and see if he can get round him? Lucas Dozer has come up alongside the Paul I make it as wide as possible Clark here this evening, and how easy is this going to be for Dozer to get past? Well, time will tell. He's right up behind him currently at the moment, and let's see how he gets on. Paul Clark is currently in 8th place in the pros. Lucas Dozer down in 9th, and of course we've got David Walters, who's took fuel and is on tyres that's not going to last, but apparently they may, according to Dan and his maths and everything else that we've listened to just shortly a minute ago. But let's see how he gets on. Mike Buson and Rudolf Nagel, both SimRC drivers here as well, having their own little mix-up with people in front. Dozer with Clark, Buson with Nagel. Excuse me. Diego Zuccarelli put, truth is, all theories are good.
See?
Yeah, maybe, but
everything I just said works. It all makes sense.
Don't believe so. No point you sitting there, young sir, doing that. I don't think you're right, but there we go. I wouldn't be surprised if David Walters come in towards the end of the race, to be honest. So let's see how he gets on. But Buson is in there battling away with Nagel. Kiriakopoulos is closed back up, right up behind him at the moment as well. Dozer's battling away with Paul Clark. There are only two battles really on track of cars closest together. John McCutcheon has got the gap down to Kettle Larson, nearly below a second. So I'm expecting that one to work out, hopefully come together very, very shortly. But Dozer is all over Clark here, Dan.
Yeah, where is he? Like I said, and like Miles said, there's an art to the defending that he's doing. Dolzer is not getting past, while Dolzer got past the whole Anfield. Now, I do agree that the Anfield might have made it way easier for him because he's not in the same class. They're not fighting him. But I feel, like we always said, Paul Clark, a difficult man to get past, and it could take a while here for Dolzer to do so. This is not the easiest track at all to overtake at. It does have some great overtaking opportunities into Stowe if you are close enough. But you have to have a certain amount of overspeed for that to work.
It
Now,
definitely does. Okay, go on, what you're pointing at.
Diego Zuccarelli has put in chat, or maybe he decided to be fast at the beginning and manage the tires later on, with more rubber on the track. So what did I just tell you? Later on in the race, track usage is going to be more rubber will be laid down, he's going to slide less, the tires will last longer. Yes, he will be on a higher fuel load, but he chose, like I said, to be quicker than everyone else in the first 30 minutes, because everyone else seems to be on a higher fuel load. So he was quicker. However, I don't think we saw the best of that, because I think David Walters made a couple of mistakes, didn't he? Early on in the race, where Tui dropped back.
Yes.
But, so we are not going to see the full advantage of that tactic of being quicker in the beginning, but we're going to see. I have a feeling that the strategy, no matter which way you go, it'll just come down to which driver is quickest. Now, honestly, you would have to ask Kiriakopoulos or McCutcheon, the two drivers who are most known for their ridiculous strategies, to ask for a strategy that is quicker than the ones I've just told you, because clearly with the strategies that Kiri Koplas or McCutcheon sometimes ran, they were quicker than everything everyone else could think about.
Right. I'm going to take Phil's advice in YouTube chat and just say yes. So there we go. All right, job done. Rudolph Nagel now past Mike Buson. Buson now got to try and hold on to the place in front of Kyrgiakopoulos. You can have a look back and see how that one went on as well, as it looked very straightforward here, but let's have a look back. Ooh, that was round Brooklands. He had a go then. Oh no, double left-hander. So from Priory into Brooklands. Good job there from for Rudolph Nagel. Jacek Zalonka has looked like he's, well, he said he's had a crash, but I can't see that he actually has, to be honest. He's still battling away in the middle of the field. Mike Buson still with Nagel and also Kyrgiakopoulos. Those are still behind Paul Clark though, buddy. What do you think he's going to be able to do?
I don't know. Like I said, Clark, difficult man to get past. We all know it. Dolzer, like I said, this could take a couple of laps for him to do so. Not close enough to go for a move into Stowe. Not close enough once again to go for a move into Abbey. I don't think that Dolzer is going to be able to get past this lap anytime soon, because we're now running up to Brooklands, the Bridge Brooklands, and then into Lovefield, which are not really overtaking opportunities.
No, definitely not. Gary Truby, Stefan Mellis are having a battle here. See how these guys get on. Stefan Mellis, of course, with Gary Truby right behind him. There goes Mr. Truby on the outside as they're going round turn 8 into 9. Stunning move. Is Truby going to be able to hang it out? He's on the gas. Let's see what Gary Truby can do. Gets onto the pedal. Just seems to have far too much, a lot more speed, a lot more grip there. But Mellis is trying to come back at him as they're going into Abbey, into turn 11. There we go, the left-hander. And the right. Absolutely stunning job there from these guys. Nice little battle there, Gary Truby. Good job for you, young sir. Kyrgiakopoulos has cleared Buson as well. Okay, so let's see what Michael LeMay does. He's in the pits. First, really, at the front row, Sandra Capella's out. Sandra Capella says, no, I can't do it anymore. So let's see what Michael LeMay does. This is where we're expecting him. This is the timeline of where everybody is being expected to pit, round about the 45-45. Lights up.
Though. I
don't
think he is.
He's only been in for about 30 seconds, mate. I'm expecting him for a go for at least a minute 20 if he's going to.
Is fuel being done first and then tires?
Yeah, I think they're still on separations, aren't they?
Okay.
There
we go. There he goes up for fuel. Like you said, it's going to take a while. I thought the tires were done before the fuel. That was the mistake there. But yeah, you are right, James. He is going to take tires. And it seems like we said, everyone is going to have to do this, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on the quicker lap times. If we look at the lap times that David Walters is doing at the moment, he's already down into the 43s where he was before. So the best of the tires has once again already been eaten up by David Walters. If we look at the leaders, they're on a 142.9. However, they are also on lighter fuel. So I think once you look at that with the same tires and the same fuel load, I think they would be around the same time. Paul Clark from the Avalanche Racing team with a purple sector in sector 1. Paul LeMay is now into the pit lane as well. He's following, of course, Michael LeMay in. Is he going to take tires as well? I'm going to get that answer in, well, about 15 seconds, 10 seconds from now. We see him go up on the jacks, or if we don't.
There we go. Up in the air he goes. So another man has taken tyres. I think tyres seems to be the way to go here today. But it'll be the front runners. Let's have a look when Kettle Larson goes in and John McHutchison, see what they get up to. But I think tyres could be the way to go.
You save about, James, 25 seconds, and that is done by counting, so not a stopwatch. I had to count that myself because I didn't have the stopwatch handy. About 25 seconds with changing tyres. Now, is it worth staying out till the last 30 minutes of this race on the tyres you have now? So use the best of the tyres when the car is heaviest. And then go out the last 30 minutes with only half fuel when the car is not as heavy, and not change tyres, because 25 seconds is a lot to change tyres. But on this track it might just pay off. We don't know, because at every other track we've been to this season, not changing tyres was the fastest way.
Yeah.
So this is something completely different how they go about the strategy. So we don't know how it's going to play out here. This is something completely unknown for us. This is completely unknown territory. So honestly, it's such a guest festival of try and guess who has the best strategy. And I think it's just best for you to go on the strategy that most people are using at
Which
this point.
is what?
I think at this point, running till the 30-minute mark and then changing tyres. Or not changing tyres, that I don't know. But it seems that we've missed the period for the 45-45.
Yeah, we have, but I think they, as you say, if we get down to 30 and they start coming in, then fair point. I don't really know how I would divide the race up, to be fair. I'd be more looking at just basically going full fuel, or as much fuel from the beginning as I can get in, and then basically run for as long as possible, to be fair.
If we look technically, James, David Walters was ahead of Paul Lemay before he went into the pit. And Paul Lemay has come out ahead of him after the pit stop. Pit stop time of both drivers. Actually, Paul Lemay was in pit for 2 seconds longer. So I don't think that David Walters has chosen the quickest strategy. However, if that is the case, then I'm going to fear for the drivers that are going to the 30-minute mark, because that's basically the same strategy, just reversed.
Yeah, but they're going to have tyres towards the end of the race. Paul Clark's in the pits. So is Ewan Bramer. Let's have a look here at Paul if we can. I think Ewan's in the way, to be honest, but let's try and get in. They were there, well, they were there exactly the same time, pretty much.
Well, we're going to see if one of the two goes up into the air. We're going to see it. There he goes. Ewan Bremer does. Then we should see Paul Clark go up into the air right about now. No, he doesn't. He flies off.
Oh, Mr. Clark, you cheeky monkey. How long is he going to save? 58 seconds over 122s. Ewan Bramer going out now in a 115. So 15, 16, 17 seconds between not taking fuel and taking fuel and tyres. There we go.
Yeah, it's tricky. He's going to risk it. He's going to be one of the drivers that we're going to have to look at. I'll keep an eye on the lap times that he was running before he went into the pit lane. Paul Clark was doing about 143 mid, 143 low. So I'm going to see what Paul Clark is going to be doing after this pit stop. And we'll get a good reference of if this is quick enough. Because if he's going to lose more than 1 second a lap, then he is going to be in the danger zone. But you are going to have to lose more than, what, 1 second a lap. Because I don't think we're going to run more than another 30 laps for the remainder of this race.
Yeah, Kettle Larson still battling away with John McHutchison here. They are literally coming up to be nose to tail after John pulled back the 2.5 second lead that Kettle Larson did have. I think Larson is possibly struggling with tyres. It'd be an interesting way to see. McHutchison's looking at going up into turn 11. John McCutcheon, the Scotsman, does take the lead. Is Larson going to be able to come back at him again? Is the door going to be open as they go under the bridge? Here we go. They're going round Priory into Brooklands, and it looks like McCutcheon has got the jump and has pulled out nearly half a second over Larson already. Wow.
He must be struggling with tyres then.
Definitely on that one. 36 minutes here.
Sorry, James. I can't see anything on my timing screen according to Kettle Larson making a mistake or going off track. So this is just pure loss of pace. He's running in the 143 highs at the moment, which even David Waltz, who's been into the pit lane, isn't doing now at the moment on high fuel.
Well, there we go.
So I think that pit stop can't come quick enough for Kettle Larson. If you were Kettle Larson here, would you risk going into the pit lane about 6 minutes early? I think now he's lost that lead. He's going to go into the pit lane.
He's got to make the move. I think now, as you've lost it, you might as well just go for it. Kyriakopoulos is being hounded by Buson. Buson seems to be coming back here. Everybody from Paul Clark in 9th. Everybody above and some still below Paul Clark, mind you, have not pitted. Clark did not take tyres. Whether that's brave, whether that's silly, whether that's stupid, I'm not entirely sure. But either way, he has not taken tyres currently at the moment in time. So, you know, just have to see what happens here with Paul Clark and see how he gets on. Where is he at time-wise? He's still, last time out, he was doing a 144. Ouch. 144.27.
Sorry, people with new tyres are doing high 42, so that is more than a second, so it's going to be right on the edge coming to the end of this race. I think once the fuel drops off here, James, for Paul Clark, we're going to be better. But that is not a promising first time out of the pits for Paul Clark.
Yeah, definitely here as well. Here we go. Let's have a look at one of the front runners. I think with Kyriakopoulos, we will be able to see whether or not he's going to take tyres. As we can see, Mike Bruce will go whizzing past the pit lane there. Love that shot. There we go. But let's have a look and see what Dennis Kyriakopoulos is. This may seem weird looking at the cars in the pits, guys, but we do need to get a better idea of who's going to take tyres and who isn't. Because tyres at the moment are a big thing at the Legacy Silverstone circuit. It does go through them quite quickly, and with a track temperature of 25 degrees as well, it really is dependent. Now, we know the fact that Paul Clark has not taken tyres. Has he managed to jump Dennis Kyriakopoulos? We should find out from Kyriakopoulos around about the next 10 seconds whether or not he's going to be... There he is! He is! Oh! But where's Mr. Paul Clark? That's going to be the question, because if Clark's not taken tyres in the hope to move up, he needs to get on with it. Okay, Kyriakopoulos is still in the air. Paul Clark is coming past the pits. Kyriakopoulos is down. He's not. Clark is there. He's got another one.
Easy for Paul Clark. However, the gap is not at 25 seconds, so honestly, James, I don't think Paul Clark's going to be able to hold on to this, because with lap times of about 144, last time round for Paul Clark, a 144.0. He is getting closer to that quicker lap time. I think it's just feeling out how the car is on used tires and high fuel for Paul Clark as well. But it's going to be close. It's going to be very, very close. And it's going to be an interesting one to watch. So definitely don't go anywhere, guys. This is going to be an interesting one to look at. And, well, we'll keep you all up to date with the times from Paul Clark and from, of course, Kyriakopoulos, who, of course, last time round at a 149 because he went into the pit lane. He was around the 143 low mark, not in the 143 zeros. I think around 143.23. So then, if that is the case, it should be good. But seeing that, he did take new tyres, so expect him to be in the low 42s.
Another man that didn't take tyres was Damien G. 54-second pit stop. Did not take tyres.
This will be the first time that we actually see strategy work out. Usually it was just one strategy, wasn't it, James? It was just do not take tires or you will just end up about 20 seconds behind everyone else, because every other track was so light on tires, and for some reason I have a feeling it's just the road surface, this legacy circuit, the surface is just a little bit rougher, so it's just a little bit more harsh on the tires. I think that's making a difference, but it just, I don't know, it seems like on every other track there was no issue whatsoever with the tires, but here for some reason there is.
Yeah. Well, only time is going to tell here how far Paul Clark is going to get on, but his pit strategy says he didn't take tyres, and we know for a fact he didn't because we didn't see him go up in the air. Larson has dropped back, wow, about 3.7 seconds. So from Larson's point of view, I'd probably suggest he may take tyres. We are waiting for one of the top enders, John McCutcheon, Kettle Larson or Rudolph Nagel, to come in, because they do give us a little bit more of a better idea, don't they, than some of the mid-runners about what's generally going to happen between the top three. As Dennis Kiriakopoulos is chasing down Gary Truby currently at the moment.
It's important for Kiriakopoulos that he gets past Truby as quick as possible, because of course ahead of Truby is Paul Clark, the man who he's chasing down on new tires, excuse me. And Paul Clark on old tires, we've said it more than enough times now, and we're going to sound like a broken record, but we don't know what's going to happen. This is the first time this has ever happened in the series that actually taking tires could well be faster here. We're going to see Kiriakopoulos, of course, we have to remember, he was quite a way ahead of everyone else, or at least of Paul Clark, so he has lost time. That's, you can't lie about that. He has lost time, but it's just how quick he's going to make it up.
Now, Damien G's under pressure from Iwan Bremer. Bremer, of course, did take tyres. Damien G did not. Is whether or not they can run it down past that knobbly stage of the SR10, but I just, Bremer!
Oh, keep it out of the wall! That was a good power slide there for Iwan. Just catching the grass on the outside of Cobbs. Yeah, he's gonna need some new underwear after that, I'm sure.
Oh, definitely on that one, but just still waiting for the top three to come in. John McCutcheon still not currently going in. Neither is Larson, neither is Nagel, neither is Buson, neither is Place, neither is Dozer. And Dozer is the final man that's not into the pits. Now, he's currently doing last lap time 1:42.82. What is Paul Clark going to be doing? Clark is coming around the bottom end. He's around club at the moment. He's going to need to get on his boots a little bit, because he's got the looming Kiriakopoulos, who did take tyres. I think a brave man will be crazy not to take tyres.
Okay, I don't quite understand that sentence. A brave man
not to take tyres. It is to be a brave man who doesn't take tyres.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. I agree with that. And then, well, Paul Clark is one of them. We're gonna see where he's gonna end up, but it looks like Kiriakopoulos is way faster at the moment. 1.2 seconds the gap only already. Remember that gap last lap was up at about 3.5 seconds. Last lap time for Paul Clark, 1:44.554. 2.3 seconds quicker was Kiriakopoulos. He's already within a second. Doesn't seem like not taking tyres is the best option here.
No, definitely not. It'll be interesting to see what the front runners do. I'm still waiting for that little signal to come up that one of them's gone into the pits, because at the moment none of them have, and Paul Clark is literally, he's going to be swallowed here. He went round in a 1:44.55, Kiriakopoulos 1:42.24. 2 seconds is over 2 seconds, yeah, was the gap between lap time. So
we're going to see, here we go, Paul Clark is going to try and defend as best as he can. Maybe he's just counting on the fact that he can make that car wider than wide. No, he can't this time round. The tire advantage is just too big for Kiriakopoulos. You can see he can run it in deep in the tires. He can just trust on the tires. What Paul Clark has to do is just try and thread the needle on what he can and what he can't do with the tires at the moment. The tires are not hanging on as much as they were in the beginning. Paul Clark really has to steer the car now. The tires are not correcting any little mistakes anymore for him, which the tires from Kiriakopoulos are doing for him, and you can see already gapped him to 1.1 seconds, and it's, yeah.
Truby's in the pits, of course. Truby was leading the AMS. G is just overtaking him at the moment. It's really where this man can go. I think if he can catch, well, he's going to go dead Gary Truby. Gary Truby's not actually probably stopped yet, to be honest, but I think from his point of view, he's got to be looking at trying to get up to Damien G. We know G has not taken tyres. Does Truby take tyres? That's going to be the question. Ah, there's the man we want to see. Sorry, Mr. Gary Truby. What is this man going to do? He needs... Are we going to take tyres? Rudolf Nagel is in as well. Gary Truby did not.
Right, interesting to see what McCutcheon is going to do. Usually the man from the unusual strategies. Larson has continued for an unlapped Dolzer as well, so it seems like those guys better in terms of fuel mileage. I didn't expect Larson to continue on, but there we go. There we have our answer. McCutcheon not taking tires. Is Nagel or Buisson going to take tires?
No.
Nagel is not. Is Buisson placed in the background as well? I think these guys are not going to take tires.
No.
Nope. Placed in the background is he. Nope. All those guys not taking tires. So no one on a different strategy. Ooh, we're gonna... Maybe Dolzer and Larson are going to do so, but it's going to be so close, James. Where are you going to make the difference? Where?
You could say that is Kiriakopoulos currently, seeing as their tire goes on. So keep an eye on the front, McCutcheon, Nagel, Buisson. See what their next lap time is and tie it in conjunction with Kiriakopoulos and see where Kiriakopoulos comes out. Because trust me, I think Kiriakopoulos here could be sitting pretty.
No, he's too far back. He's too far back, James. Sorry to say it, but he's too far back. He's never ever going to make up a gap to John McCutcheon of 44 seconds. If the race was longer, yes, but no, he's going to have to gain with 24 minutes to go. So around 14 laps at best, 15 maybe. I think no, he's not gonna get there. He's gonna have to gain more than 3 seconds a lap to get there, and I don't think that's gonna be the case.
Well, we're gonna find out what Kettle Larson does. He didn't take tyres either. What about Dozer?
The only one on the top maybe to do something different. I don't think he is. He's also going to not take tires. We should see him pop up, and no, he's not going to do that. There we go then. There we have our answer. I feel Paul Clark, we did not see him take tires, did we?
No.
Well, his pit lane time was about 10 seconds longer than anyone else.
But he went into the pits a lot earlier, dude. He went into the pits on lap 29. They went onto the pits on 37, so they got to take less fuel.
Okay.
So, at the moment, though, it is placed Dozer, Buisson, Kiriakopoulos. And everybody looks like they're going to be struggling here. And Stefan Mellis, who did take tyres, could basically go past probably the both of them.
Kiriakopoulos also, James, just posted his fastest lap time on a 1:42.0. So Kiriakopoulos trying to get past maybe Buisson and Dolzer in place, but I think P4 is the best he can maybe get here.
I don't know. I'm a little bit more, maybe a little bit more optimistic than you on that one, because I think Kyrgiakopoulos is going to eat into this gap. I want to have a look what Buson does when he goes across the line, because if Kyrgiakopoulos is doing 142s and Buson's doing 144s, in about 6 laps time, he'll be past Buson and onto Dozer and Place. Now, Buson's lap was coming out of the pit, so he did a 153. Obviously, from Kyrgiakopoulos' point of view, he's just going to go past the line now. He did a 142.09. So...
Right. Last 20 minutes of this race, James. Where are we expecting this race to go now? Kyrgiakopoulos, the only one on new tires, but on 42 seconds.
Okay, let's have a look. Over Buson. Okay, so we're going to go forward a driver. Right, this is going to be really the lap that's going to tell the difference, okay? So Buson was 11 seconds slower than in that last lap. But obviously Buson was coming out of the pit. So it's going to be here on this next lap where we're going to see whether or not Buson's going to make that difference. And the problem is, of course, is from the leader's point of view as well. Let's have a look at McCutchinson's time as he goes over the line. John McCutchinson, 143.4. Larson, 142.7.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
No, third and fourth are literally really close together. Rudolph Legal and Stephen Place. I'm expecting their lap times to be a little bit slower. But it's this man here. 143.2. 143.2. 144. Kyrgiakopoulos.
I'm saying, James, a maximum of P4 for Kyrgiakopoulos and not more. I want to hear some predictions as well from you. What are you thinking? Is he going to get to McCutcheon?
No, I think you're looking at 41 seconds there. I think he's way too back. He's too far back. He's got to pull 2 or 3 seconds out of him per lap, per minute. He's not going to make that. But Stephen Place is a possibility. I don't know if Nagal's another 14 seconds in front of that. I think that might be a little bit out of his reach, to be fair. But I definitely think P4 is a possibility for him if he can keep this pace up. Because the longer they go, the tyres are going to drop off. Damien G is managing to hold on to first in the AMS. He didn't pit. He didn't take tyres either. So it's going to be interesting to see where Damien G ends up, because he's got Ewan Bramer, who did take tyres, closing in. Paul LeMay, who did take tyres, closing in on him. So he's going to be under the cosh as well, the leader of the AMS. But I think Kyrgiakopoulos, if he can get that gap, he's already brought the gap down 2 seconds already, nearly, over to Mike Buson. He's now interval gap to Mike is literally 8 seconds.
Now let's look at this. Let's look at this, James. Before he pitted, Kyrgiakopoulos was in P5. So if he can get to P5, he hasn't lost anything. If he can get to P4, he's had a net gain of 1 through that pit stop. So that will tell us that taking tires was quicker. Just not significant enough to make a real dent maybe into the lead that the top 3 already had. So it's going to be interesting to see. Kyrgiakopoulos at the moment in 7th, 8.6 seconds back from Buson, who himself is 2 seconds back from Dolzer, who is 2 seconds back from Place. So I think a P4 is looking pretty realistic here still for Kyrgiakopoulos.
Yeah, I think P4 could be on the cards here. If he can just keep that pace up. 142.35. Stephen Place last time out. No, I'm not reading that. 143.48. So over a second a second and a bit quicker there over Place as well. Place is battling away with Dozer. Mellis has cleared both of them. Stefan Mellis on brand new tyres has gone past both of these people.
Well, that just tells you how slow tyres are, or the tyres are for them. So it seems like Place also struggling with keeping that car going. Maybe we will see an even bigger drop-off towards the end of the race. Who knows? Maybe we'll see a drop-off of about 3-4 seconds towards the end, and Kyriakopoulos could still take P3, but we don't know. This is unknown territory, James, and I'm enjoying this ride that we're on at the moment, trying to figure out who is on the quickest strategy.
Kyriakopoulos' gap down to 7.5, well, just dropped down to 7.6. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. 16 minutes remaining here, of course. Oh. Dozer. Trying to climb all over Stephen Place here. Currently is battling for 4th and 5th.
It's not going to help their case, though.
No, definitely not. Because Kyriakopoulos' gap is now down to 7.2. So...
well, Doles are not able to get past Place, but putting him under enough pressure that maybe Buson can close up to this battle too. And if that is the case, then this is going to be a 3-way fight, maybe a 4-way fight to the end for P4, which would be amazing to watch, of course. Dolzer, however, now struggling with tires himself. It just seems like they just look so slow now through these corners, James. They just seem to be carrying no speed at all through the low-speed corners where you really need that mechanical grip from the tires.
Do you know, the interesting thing for me would have been if somebody like Larson had took tyres. He might have been a little bit further back, but he would have gained that pace over John McHutchinson, because Hutchinson's still doing 143s and Larson's well capable of doing 141s.
Well, he would have had clean air. He would have maybe dropped back behind Nagel, maybe directly behind Place, who didn't take tyres. So he would have been able to overtake him pretty easily. And then he would have cleared track 16 seconds to Nagel. And when he was there, he had about a 13-second gap to catch up to McHutchinson. So yes, I think we have missed out on maybe seeing really how quick the strategy could have been. But I think at the end of the day, the sensible decision for those guys at the front was just to follow what the driver behind them did. McHutchinson didn't take tires. Dolzer is about to get past Place as well. Round the outside, Dolzer is going to spin. You can't do that on these old tires anymore. This is what we have seen on Friday as well. The more the tires go off, the more you're likely to make those mistakes. And look at the background. The orange car is getting bigger and bigger in the rearview mirror of Dolzer. Kyriakopoulos catching up to all three of these drivers, capped down to 5 seconds, James.
Yeah. And the gap down to at the front is only 39. So it'll be interesting to see how or what he's going to be able to do there. We're not going to say he's going to get 39 seconds, but we are expecting him to at least get 4th place here.
Well, let's be honest. The gap was at 43. He's eaten into that lead from McHutchinson about 4 or 5 seconds over the last, 10 minutes? No, he's not going to get there at all, no matter how big the drop-off will be for McHutchinson. Or we need another Formula 1 2021 or 2022 type of thing, where Kyriakopoulos is going to have new tyres, McHutchinson is going to have a flat tyre, Larson is going to have a flat tyre, Nagel is going to have a flat tyre, and Kyriakopoulos comes through and wins the race. That will be a dream scenario for Kyriakopoulos. Don't think he's going to get it, though.
No. But it's a possibility of taking 4th place.
A high chance of taking 4th place. 4.2
Very
seconds
high.
with about 12 minutes to go. Better tyres, same fuel. He's flying.
and nearly 2 seconds quicker than Stephen Place.
Well, that's what you want to hear if
Not
you're
for-
Kyrgiakopoulos.
Not for that man, you don't. Gary Truby.
What has he done? He's going to spin it.
Wait.
Yeah, too deep. No contact.
No.
Good. Oh, that was close.
Paul Clark's been off track as well. He's not got Damien G for company. Paul LeMay, as we said, the new tyres. Chasing down G. There he is, Paul. Go get him. Go get him, because you haven't got long. Fighting with Damien G there. 2.5 second gap last time out. Paul LeMay 143.0, G 143.7. So pulled in 7 tenths over him and can see him up the road.
I have a feeling, James. Sorry, go on.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, okay, well, I have a feeling that taking tires is ultimately going to be the slower strategy if the guy that didn't take tires is going to be able to hold it, because G is 2.1 seconds out of LeMay. LeMay was leading by about 8 seconds when he went into the pit lane, and I don't think that when he overtakes him, he's going to be able to build up a gap of 8 seconds. However, it is going to be very close, so it was worth, I think, definitely taking that risk. And I think for Paul LeMay, a very smart strategy decision to go for safety, to have those new tires, just feel safe, just brand spanking new tires on the car. No issue whatsoever with oversteer, understeer on the car. A nice light car with new tires till the end. I think it was just the smart strategy call for Paul LeMay to go for with a lead of about 8 seconds.
Damien G and Paul Clark now. That's how Clark defends. He just parks his car in the middle of the track and says no. These guys going to try and go on the power early here. How are they going to get on? Because I tell you what, it's going to be a difficult situation for them as they're coming into turn 11, into Abbey, with the ever-looming Paul LeMay right behind them. Those gaps down to 1.8. So here we go. 10 minutes remaining here, guys. Stay tuned. Grab your drinks, get your popcorn, because you're not going to want to miss any of this action here this evening. Oh, gee. It's got in a little bit hot there. That's allowed LeMay to come right up behind him. God, that could have been more dangerous there, Dan.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're into the last 10 minutes of this race now. And I have to say, this has flown by these, well, 80 minutes. 10 minutes to go of the 90. 3 seconds is the gap at the front. It looked like for a second to me, that is LeMay going off track.
No, he's tire dipping. He's tire dipping. He's fine.
He's cooling off the tires. Yes, indeed, he is.
Calling off the tires, man.
Well, Larson looked like for a second he was quicker than McCutcheon on those old tires. But also that, well, at the moment isn't quite seemingly working out for Larson. The gap there is still at 3 seconds. Damien G is going to try and get past Paul Clark. Maybe just wants to run behind Paul Clark to give him the best opportunity, because I think he's going to need the slipstream in most parts of the track. However, if he can get Paul Clark between himself and LeMay, that would be even better.
I don't think he's going to be able to. I think LeMay's just going to be carrying too much speed. Got to be honest. I think he's carrying too much grip, too much speed. Kyrgiakopoulos is gapped down to 7 tenths now.
That's also not going to help for G. That's a mistake from Damien G. And now Paul Clark, Paul LeMay, sorry, is all over him. Gap down to about 0.2 of a second. Damien G and Paul LeMay fighting it out for the lead in the AM class with 8 minutes to go here at the Silverstone Legacy Circuit. Seems like car number 28, Damien G. Oh, he's going to spin it. Is there contact? Yes, there is. Damien G. And that is, like I said, just a safe strat for Paul LeMay working out. Damien G and the old tires couldn't keep it straight, just a little bit too much of the low pedal. Paul LeMay seems to have got away with not too much damage, steering is straight. So it could just be only aero damage there for Polome. He got away with that one. It's all kicking off here in the end, James.
Expected though. Because this is where the other one's going to be. If Stefan Mellis can go past these guys, unlap himself, and basically pull out a gap. Good evening, Mr. Sweeney. Kiriakopoulos can catch them past them. He's so much quicker on new tyres. So much quicker.
Where is he going to do it though on Dolzer?
Anywhere. He can get any part of this circuit right about now for Kiriakopoulos and pull the grip out because he's got more of it. Dozer's got nothing. They didn't change tyres. Kiriakopoulos, look, he's running. He can run him out of left field on the way down through Woodcote and go out of the cops and put the power down a lot earlier. He'll be able to get him before or after the Maggotts Beckett's easily.
Oh, we're gonna see
If he ain't going to have a go already.
Here we go, Kiriakopoulos. He's going to get the run. I don't think he's going to get it before Maggotts Beckett's though, James. Just a little bit too far back. I think Dirty Air, they're playing a part as well for Kiriakopoulos. He is going to stay close now through the Maggotts Beckett's complex. On to the Hangar Straight. This is where he's going to need to get him. 4/10. I don't know if it's enough. He's going to have to outbrake him now. It's not going to be
well, we know we can outbrake him.
He's not close enough. He's not close enough, James. He can't do it yet.
No.
Maybe here out of... Sorry, go on.
I don't think it's going to be long. I don't think it's going to be long on this run down into 8. Maybe out of 9. He's got to be looking. He's got to try and get him because his new tyres should allow him to breeze past Lucas Dozer easily.
You can't forget that the newest is already off of those new tyres, so...
Yeah, but they're ball tyres, Dan.
But Kiriakopoulos as well will be experiencing some tyre wear by now. I don't think that Kiriakopoulos has the best of those tyres left. Of course, he was pushing for about 30 minutes, and we saw, even if you're pushing for 30 minutes, the tyres do go off to the end of the race. So this could well be a very difficult pass to make for Kiriakopoulos. I do agree with you. If he's able to get past Dolce, he's also going to be easily... Oh, that... Is that off track?
Jacek Zalonka.
That's not a position for Mellis. He's picked up that position as well. He's up into P4 now in the AMP class. I do agree. If he can get past Dolzer now, he's gonna be at the back of Buson in no time. But making that pass is what's difficult on this track, even though you have a little bit newer tires. It's not gonna be straightforward here for Kiriakopoulos. Which, let's be fair, James, we both didn't expect here.
No, but I thought he would have been able to breeze past. He caught him easily enough.
Yeah.
He caught him easily.
As a wise man once said, catching up is one thing, overtaking is a complete other one.
Yeah, but he had tyres and he's got it all. He needs to just Verstappen it. He needs to do something because he's just wasting his time. Bramer is another one that took tyres, and look, Bramer's on the back of Clark. So, from Kiriakopoulos' point of view, he's got to go. You've just got to send it. You've got to send it.
He's going to do it now, though. He's going to go to the inside of Dolzer. Is there going to be contact between the two? No, there's not. He's going to run Dolzer now wide. Once again, Dolzer is going to be able to hang on with these old tyres. I don't know, James, where Dolzer is getting this grip from. Kiriakopoulos is trying every line possible here on the Silverstone Legacy Circuit. Not able to get past, though. Gap up to about 0.5 of a second now. I don't know if he's going to be able to do it, James. I don't know. Dolzer seems to be placing that car perfectly. And you can see the gap opened up to 8 seconds. He's easily able to get within 3/2 again. So these newer tires are doing their work, but it's just so difficult to pass at the moment.
Yeah, he's just got to kind of send it somewhere. It's got to be soon. It's gap out from Dozer to Mike Buson's 3.5, and I don't think he's going to be able to get that to before the end of the race. This is a missed opportunity here for Kiriakopoulos. Missed opportunity altogether, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't know where. I think we were both excited to see Kiriakopoulos breeze past Dolzer, Buson, and Place, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He's running out of time. 2 seconds or 2 minutes to go here. 3.8 seconds the gap to Buson now. I think a max of 6th is now what Kiriakopoulos can get, if he's even going to get 6th.
And that would be a shock from that point of view, considering his tyres are basically his tyres are only 20 laps old, where Dozer's is 52 laps old. He should be going past him. Prosy yellow, Amza blue. What is Kiriakopoulos? Why is Kiriakopoulos in white? Prosy yellow, Amza blue. The selected car who you're looking at currently is white. Zach Sweeney. Do you not pay attention to SDK files, young sir? I love the fact that I spend all my time designing them and you don't know which one I'm on.
Don't you just love it? Other commentators bragging about your SDK file while it's just doing what it's supposed to do.
Prosy yellows, blues are white. The selectors are white. Prosy yellow, blues AMs. And the selected car is white. I'm good at my job, I promise. Yeah. We'll have a chat about it. Oh dear. All right, what can Kiriakopoulos do? He's dropped down half a second. Dennis, I thought he was going to fly. He just didn't. He didn't fly.
Didn't we all, James? We all expected, at the rate he was catching, just expect him to breeze past Dolzer. But now I think this is proven. Also with LeMay at the moment. LeMay has pulled out a gap of 10 seconds on G though, so that is also with a mistake from G. But that seems to be working out well. But Dolzer just not making any mistakes, and that is, I think, what Kiriakopoulos is relying on right now.
Yeah, clearly, from grip purposes, he's not going to have any. John McCutcheon has started the last lap of... Whoa! He's going to see somebody coming around that corner. Who was that? Was that Zalanka again?
No, it was I think that was Robertson, if I'm correct. There we go. Yeah, that was Robertson.
Guy Robertson went off in my ear there. That was quite bizarre. John McCutcheon is coming around Stowe. I will keep an eye on him now as he's going to come around taking the checker flag. But these guys are just starting the last lap of the race. You got one more lap, Dennis. Come on, son. Send it already. Oh, new tyres, mate. Caught him up so easily. You would have thought he just would have gone, wouldn't you? Gone and done. Gone and done. But it's looking like McCutcheon is going to be your winner today, bar any major issues. So,
is he going to have a chance now? He's going to pull out. Going to pull out of the slipstream into Stowe. He's going to make the pass now. Is he finally going to be able to do it around the outside? He's going to go to number 18 off Kiriakopoulos. There we go. Look at him breeze past. It just took him too long. The gap is 2 seconds now to Buson, but they're already on the final lap. He's not going to be able to catch that.
Yeah, way too long. But John McCutcheon is going to come across the line now. The Scotsman is going to take your victory here tonight. There he is. There is the Scotsman himself. McCutcheon takes the victory. Kettle Larson in second place. And if he goes around that corner, he's going to find John McCutcheon there. Rudolf Nagao is going to come across the line in third. Stephen Place is struggling so bad. Oh, poor Stephen Place. It's been like Bambi on ice there, Dan. He's struggling so bad to get the power down. And Place is going to come across the line in fourth place for Place, I suppose.
Look at Kiriakopoulos though. Buson and Kiriakopoulos, only 1.3 seconds. That gap was 2 seconds just half a lap ago. Not even half a lap ago. If Kiriakopoulos would have been able to get past quicker, he would have been able to do it.
Yeah, he definitely would have caught him there as well. David Waters, it looks like he's going to make the move up the inside of Damien G. Again, battling. Oh, where are you? Oh, okay. battle of new and old tyres. What would you do without me giving you some comic relief? I was just testing you, says Zach Sweeney. Yeah, I don't know if that's completely true, Zach. I've got to be honest, sir. That was a test. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, doubtfully. Paul LeMay coming along, but of course Paul is the AM championship for the season. Damien G coming across here as well. And there we go. Sandra Capella, of course, is your only retirement here tonight. And here are the results on your screen. John McHutchison is your victor by 5.7 seconds over Kettle Larson. Rudolph Nagel in third. Stephen Place fourth. Mike Buson fifth. Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos in sixth. He should have made better with them tyres. Lucas Dozer seventh. Ewan Bramer in eighth. Paul Clark in ninth. And then, of course, we go into the AMs. Paul LeMay is your AM champion this season. We had a feeling he locked it up before he got here, but now he's definitely done it, and it's done. Damien G in second there in overall. David Waters, of course, down on 12 overall. Michael LeMay in 13th. Stefan Mellis 14th. Gary Truby 15th. Jacek Zalonka 16th. Guy Robinson 17th. And of course, Sandra Capello, who did not finish, is down in 18th place. We will have a quick chat to some of the drivers that are in the booth with us currently at the moment. So who have we got in there for a chat? We have got Kettle Larson and John McHutchison. So let's start off with, we'll go bottom to top this time, as we're joined in the booth by one Mr. Kettle Larson, who was clearly talking to John McHutchison before he come and joined me. Good evening, Kettle. How are you, sir?
I'm tired now, but good. It was an okay race.
Okay race, or was it a little bit testing considering you didn't take tyres?
Yeah, I have decided on up front I wouldn't take tires, and I tried to manage the tires on the first stint. But I think I pushed them a little bit too hard. They were. I made some couple small mistakes, and maybe I overheated them a little bit. So John catch up to me. And yeah, you know the rest.
Yeah, I do, but I want to ask you a question. Dennis Kyrgiakopoulos took tyres, right? And his first lap time in conjunction with yours, his first lap time was 2 seconds quicker than yours. His final lap time, your last lap was a 1:44. His lap time, mind you, on 24 lap old tyres, he was still doing a second and a half quicker. Do you think if you took tyres, you would have passed John?
I would have lost too much in the pit, I think. Does it? Yeah, you lose 30 seconds or something in the pit?
No,
taking tires?
It was pit lane times of round about 1:20, 1:15. Non-pit lane times that you did was 47. So you would have lost around about 20 seconds, but you would have been gaining it at 2 seconds per lap.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll never find out. But maybe in the first stint, I had a really, really good pace. So I tried to stretch the gap a little bit and keep it there. But yeah, I couldn't do it today. But it was close. Yeah,
it definitely was. It would have been interesting to see you take that chance onto tyres and seeing how far, because as I say, Dennis did rather well when he was on his fresh rubber, of course. So it would have been interesting, Mr. Larson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
Next time.
Yeah, well, when you go to Nordschleife, I want to see you take tyres now, all right?
Okay. We'll see about that.
All right, buddy. Well, okay, as always, buddy, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave the booth tonight?
Yeah, of course, as always, my sponsors, Sanne Trafikkskole, IGL Coltings, Elverdi, and of course my teammates and Lasse made an awesome setup for me today. It was insanely good. So too bad I didn't manage to keep the lead until the end.
No, you had a good go, mate. That's all that matters, really. But Kettle, thanks so much for joining me, and I look forward to chatting to you again next time out.
Yeah, me too.
Take care, buddy. Right, let's bring in one Mr. Rudolf Nagel, who finished third place this evening. Not your normally blissfully qualifying that we saw from Mr. Nagel. He was qualified in fifth, up 2 places into third place. But Rudolf Nagel, good evening, sir. How are you?
Hello, I'm fine, and you?
Oh, wonderful.
So yeah, I think I go too conservative with the setup at the quali and the race. I speculate that the tires were more difficult, but it don't was so difficult. So I was too slow on the pace. So congratulations on John and Larsen. Boss was faster from the first lap, so I have not changed today.
Yeah, but it would have been an interesting one as well, because obviously we were just talking to Kettle Larsen about whether or not he was thought of even taking tyres. Now, as I said to him, Dennis, obviously, who you know, Kyriakopoulos here, was doing lap times 2 seconds quicker than you guys on the first outing of the pits, and by the end of the race, he was still doing lap times of about 1.5 seconds quicker. So it makes you wonder: do you think you could have got him if you had taken tyres? Do you think? Because you only lost around about 20 seconds taking tyres.
Yeah, but it's 15 laps, and in 15 laps you must make 22 seconds.
2 seconds per lap. 2 seconds per lap.
Yeah.
10 laps you would have been there.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
yeah.
I'm just speculating, Rudolph. I'm just trying to wind everybody up at the same time, because I think at the end of the day, like, it would have been great to see you and Kettle take tyres to chase down John. You know, it was an absolutely stellar job, mate. But look, as per normal, thank you so much for joining me. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave the booth this evening?
Yeah, all my teammates and our sponsors.
Awesome stuff. Well, also as well, we did confirm last time out that you've won the championship. I am on the understanding now that you have definitely won the championship. So,
Yes.
congratulations that you are the Championship Pro winner for this season. So well done to you also, Rudolph.
Thank you. So I make the points at the beginnings. Now the last races was more difficult for me. Also, it was good. I saved some points.
Yeah, you don't have to turn up next week, mate. Or a couple of weeks' time. You just go to sleep. It'll be fun. All right, put your feet up. Take it easy.
Thank you.
No worries, Rudolph. Thank you very much, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Right, and the third and final person in to the booth is Mr. John McHutchison. Good evening, Mr. McHutchison, sir. How are you?
Good evening, James. I'm very good now, thanks.
Yeah, very good. Taking a victory. That was nice, wasn't it? Eh?
Yeah, about time as well. Won one of these races.
Yeah, definitely.
And I asked Rudolph if he took it easy, and he didn't, so I'm glad to beat him, finally.
Yeah, well, I was just talking to him. He said he went too conservative on the setup. He thought the tyres were going to die a little bit more than they probably did. And then, of course, I keep pointing out the fact that I'd hoped that somebody was going to take tyres. Partly, but just purely because of how much time Dennis Kyriakopoulos was gaining on people was just insane with new tyres. He was doing 2 second lap quicker than you guys, and 1.5 seconds quicker by the time they come to the end of the race. So he was still going quicker as well. You know what I mean? John, did you think about it?
Take it Dennis changed his tyres in?
He did change tyres, mate, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He was flying. And then he got stuck behind Lucas Dozer, who just made it incredibly difficult. Otherwise, he would have got 4th place. Easily would have pulled up to Mike and gone past him and Steve. He got stuck behind... He got stuck behind Lucas Dozer and finished 6th in the end. But he did an absolute stellar job, John. But, you know, not taking it away from your victory. But did you ever think about tyres? Did you think maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't?
I actually did think about the 10 laps to go, and I was starting to tiptoe around, and I was thinking maybe I should have took tyres. But you can't, when you're in the lead, you've got to just suck it up and go with it. You can't afford to lose 20 seconds or 30 seconds, whatever it is, on tyre change.
20 seconds it would have to be worked out as.
20 seconds, right.
20.
I suppose I could have made them up, I suppose, because I was losing 2 seconds a lap.
Yep.
So maybe next time.
Oh, okay.
The Nordschleifer.
Yeah, that would be interesting. You know what I mean? But I think, anyway, overall, John, look, it's been, a great race, as it always is. And you know what I'm going to ask now, mate? Is there anyone you want to give a shout-out to before we let you go tonight?
I wanted to give a shout-out to the admins team from the Simracing. Sandro and Nihad and David. They'll do a fantastic job all behind the scenes, and they don't get enough appreciation. So thanks to the guys, and thanks to you for the broadcast. Always good fun to watch back on.
No worries, John. Well, you take care, buddy. And thank you so much for joining me in the booth.
No problem. Thanks, James.
Take care, mate. Right, we're going to do one more final interview, and I'm going to bring in the winner of the AMS, Mr. Paul LeMay. Of course, Paul has wrapped up the AM Championship last time out after the Red Bull Ring. He is now definitely wrapped up the championship. Good evening, Mr. LeMay. Sir, how are you?
I'm very good, thanks, James. Yourself?
Not bad, mate. Not bad at all. Just watched a very interesting race. People not taking tyres, people taking tyres and managing to gain positions, and you were one of the ones that took tyres.
Yeah, the plan really was just to keep it as safe as possible. And just sort of keep Damien in sight and what have you. And I realised pretty quick that I had some reasonable pace, so I thought I'd push and see if I could catch Damien. And yeah, I was just happy to sit there, but unfortunately made a mistake, and that was that.
Yeah, you had a little bit of a torpedo into him there, didn't you, Paul?
I didn't know which way to go, mate.
No, to be honest, mate, I wouldn't have either, because at one point he looked like he was going backwards, and then he looked like he was coming forward. So fair point, I wouldn't have known which way to go either there, but
I had no idea.
No idea at all. But you have now won the championship.
Great, fantastic. Really, really pleased. It's been really tough, but great fun. Been brilliant.
Yeah, so in 2 weeks' time, mate, you don't even have to turn up. You just put your feet up, watch it all on TV.
That was one of the ones I was going to drop because I can't. Well, I don't go particularly well around the Nords because of my arm. It just kills me. I've struggled with this one, to be honest, but yeah, back to physio, I think, this week.
Yeah, but you get to sit home now, mate, drink a cup of tea and get to sit and chill for 2 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Don't you? But well done, Paul.
Yeah. Thanks,
Stellar
mate.
job, mate. Well done on the championship. And as always, bud, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave the booth this evening?
Just everybody in the league, really. Just been great racing all year, or all season, I should say. And everybody's really, really fair. And no, it's been fantastic. So shout out to the guys in the league.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you so much, Paul, for joining me. And I'm sure I will catch up with you at some point during the week, buddy. But take care.
Okay, mate. Cheers then. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye. Right, guys. There we go. Why can I not get Paul up into the... Where can I get him? There we go. There we go. He's up there. Right. Right, so there we go. We are back, guys. I think you've got to admit, Dan, it was a great race overall. Very tactical. Excuse me, while I just pressed the wrong button on the screen. Very tactical race. There was pit stops, non-pit stops. Who was going to do what? Who was going to do? Wasn't going to do a lot. And it was very interesting to see, wasn't it, from our point of view of who just manages to get by. Like, some people took tyres, some people didn't, and overall it was a nice, interesting picture, wasn't it?
It was, and I think I got very excited there in the pit stop phase because, of course, we've never had in any race so far, we've had a strategy game. This was really the first time we saw this, and yeah, it was really exciting to see, I have to say, and yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think if Kyriakopoulos would have been able to get past quicker, we would have seen more of that strategy play out. We saw it at the end, getting back to about 1.3 seconds of the car ahead really quickly within half a lap, while the gap was 2 seconds before. So I think once he got past, like I said, he would have been a rocket onto the back of the next car. But yeah, sadly for Kyriakopoulos, spent too much time trying to pass. Who was it again?
Lucas Dozer.
Yeah, Lucas Dozer indeed. just spent too much time passing and couldn't get past because also did everything correctly up until the last lap.
Yeah, he definitely did, and I think it's been absolutely incredible. Damien G's in chat, great racing, guys. Zach Sweeney saying he's fixed his tie. That's you, I'm not wearing one. You know what I mean? So I'm guessing you fixed your tie. Well done to you. But overall, an absolutely stunning season. As we say, Rudolf Nagel has taken the championship in the pros. Paul LeMay has taken the championship in the AMs. We will keep you up to date with how the team standards are going on, but I think that race has just wrapped it up for two brothers racing in the AMs there as well. It will still be between Team Madline and Sim RC going into the Nordschleife in 2 weeks' time. But what we got coming up for you this week on the JBB YouTube channel? Well, later on today, we have got the GT Freeze from the LSRL, GT Freeze from Daytona Roval, UK Sim Racers tomorrow night, and then closely followed by this Tuesday night. Sorry, Dan, didn't mean to scare you. Tuesday night, and then closely followed by the BSC from Charlotte Oval, NASCAR there as well. So don't forget, guys, if you have been here this evening, don't forget to follow, subscribe, turn on the bells, and give the video a big old thumbs up, because that would be absolutely amazing. But for now, guys, from myself and Mr. Dan Peebles, as always, take care, have a great week, and you never know, I might see you on the track sometime. Good night.